Hi, I'm Wallace. In today's lesson, I want to talk about scale modes. Modes seem pretty complicated. There seems to be so many scales to memorize, it can be very overwhelming. Usually I have a lot of students that have questions about this. All you really need to know are your major scales. I'll tell you what I mean. Let's take C major for example. If we play one octave of the C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, we have this. Now, within that scale, one octave is made up of 8 notes. Octave, oct, 8. If we talk about how many different notes are in a major scale, different notes now, we have 7 different notes. For example, we have C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. That's 7 different notes. Then we have the octave C. We don't count the second C because it's a repeat, right? There's 2 C's. They're just an octave apart. So we have 7 different notes within any major scale. If we take the G major scale, we have 7 different notes still. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and then G, the octave. 7 notes. All the modes are taking a major scale, and we're calling a note other than the root note home. So in other words, in a C major scale, C is our anchor. C is our tonic note. C is home. In G major, G is home. Now what if we play, sticking with C major, the notes of C major, but we don't start and end on a C? We could start on any one of those 7 different notes within that scale, but we still play C major. So in other words, if I start on D and play to D, but I play all the notes of C major, we have D Dorian. We have the second mode of C. Let me show you what I mean. That's the C major scale starting and ending on D. Now let's start and end on the third, E. Let's start and end on the fourth, F. Let's start and end on the fifth, G. Right, now we have the 6th and the 7th. Now I just played through all 7 modes in the key of C major. I want you to play all your major scales, but I want you to start and end on all 7 notes within each major scale. By doing that, you'll be playing through all 7 modes of each major scale. Alright, now this can seem a little confusing, but if you look down at the bottom of the screen, I have a number system. You have to memorize this. Memorize all 7 modes. The first mode is Ionian. Ionian is nothing more than a fancy name for a major scale. So Ionian is a major scale, right? If we start and end on the first note of a scale, of course we have that major scale. The second mode is Dorian. If we start and end on the second note of a major scale, we have Dorian. The third mode is Phrygian. If we start and end on the third note of a major scale, we have Phrygian. The fourth mode is Lydian. The fifth mode is Mixolydian. The sixth mode is Aeolian. Aeolian is a fancy name for a natural minor scale. And the 7th mode is Locrian. Listen to me say that again. First mode is Ionian, second mode is Dorian, third mode is Phrygian, fourth mode is Lydian, we have Mixolydian, Aeolian, and Locrian. Okay, so now for example, if somebody says you have to improvise with E Dorian, and you know this system, you have it memorized, you can say to yourself, I know Dorian is the second mode. So what major scale is E the second note of? So using some reverse movement, right? What comes before E? D, right? So if you don't know E Dorian, that's okay. Relate it back to your major scale. It's D major. So if you have to improvise with E Dorian, you don't know how to play E Dorian, at least know how to play D major and you'll be fine. So if somebody's jamming something like, right? So if you didn't know E Dorian scale right off the bat, that's okay. If you relate it back to D major and you solo with D major, right, you will establish the E Dorian sound. Now say for example you need F Lydian. Alright, if you know Lydian is the fourth mode, all you have to say to yourself is, F is the fourth note in what major key? Alright, so working backwards you would get C. F is the fourth note in the key of C. C, D, E, F. Therefore, if you don't know F Lydian, that's okay. You've related it back to C major. If you play C major over F Lydian chord progression, you establish an F Lydian sound. Now another example. Let's do E Mixolydian. Right? You know Mixolydian is the fifth mode. So you work backwards. You find out that E is the fifth note in the key of A major. You don't know E Mixolydian, but you relate it back to A. You play A major, you establish an E Mixolydian sound. So keep that in mind. Relate your modes back to a major scale by memorizing the number modes. Work backwards, and you can always relate them back to a simple major scale. Just remember, you're calling a different note home in a major scale. Mess around with that. I hope this makes sense. If you need me to clear anything up, feel free to message me and email me. Ask me any question you have about guitar, scales, modes, whatever you need to know. And have fun.